We are live 364 days a year. What are we doing here?
If Dom turns at SummerSlam, I'm shaving my moustache off. I've told you, if that happens, it's going. My lip is cold because of a stupid bet that I made the YouTube.
Oh, good.
Wrestle's better than Daniel Bryan. Bryan Daniels. Better than Okada.
How do you not get fishy after Monday Night Raw? What is going on, everybody? We are back once again with another edition of Wrestling Republic's daily broadcast. I'm stoked to be here. Happy Friday, May 2nd, everyone. It is the month of May already. Can you believe it? We've got a lot of cool stuff to talk about here. We're going to break down this Backlash card that's had a lot of controversy online, a lot of criticism, but we'll see if we all like it or don't. I don't know. We'll figure that out. We're going to also preview the weekend, talk about Aleister Black, as well as Mercedes Moné, all kinds of good stuff. New opener video. Shout out, I Make Beats. Yes, absolutely. We've already got some comments here. Fernando Zayas with Happy Friday, WR crew. Absolutely. Can't wait to get into it. But before I do, let me introduce my co-hosts for the afternoon, evening, morning. Depends on where you are at geographically. But I'll tell you where one guy's at geographically, and that's the DMV. Get your twos up for the Tuesday Night Delight himself. It's Mr. Shad Talks Grabs. What's up, Shaddy?
What's good, bro? It's your boy Shad Talks Graps, and yes, I am back in the place to be. I haven't been on the daily so far this week, so I'm here today. It's been a while, but yeah, bro, I'm ready to talk about the extensive topics that we have today that are, you know, some might like, some might not like, and you'll see where I fall in between that. So yeah.
No doubt about it. We got DCX Warlords already got his twos up, and then the return you've been waiting for, no doubt. Shot is in the building, yes, 100%, but also hanging out with me today. I'm going to toss this one across the pond to a good friend of mine. He is known in some circles as Mickey's best pal, but in this circle, he's known as Mr. In the Bank. Jordy, what's going on? Happy Friday, my friend.
Clark, I always love doing a show with you, man. You're the only one that refers to me as Mr. in the Bank. Everybody else thinks that they know me well enough to just start throwing my name out there. No, I'm joking. It's great to be here. It's great to be with you guys. It's a Friday, and I've said before, I love doing these shows because we get to deep dive into something a little bit different rather than me just reviewing the show that was there the night before. And also, listen, I'm a fan of Wrestling Republic, just like the people in the comments. So big shout out to the new opening video as well. My mustache has grown back. That was a while ago now. But yeah, it's good to be here, and we've got some let's say divisive topics, I guess.
No doubt about it. And speaking of the intro video, some may expect me to say something to the effect of, what are we doing here when it comes to this Backlash card? But not so fast, not this time, not at least in my eyes. I don't have an issue with this. What Backlash to me has always been is the fallout from Mania. That's what it's supposed to be. We got that fallout on Monday Night Raw to build what has been put on the card thus far. And that's enough for me. The matches are solid. I understand maybe some criticism because of the speed of the turnaround. And also we had big gaps throughout Mania season in a way that was unique, I feel like, to this year. And we kind of got used to that between Rumble and Chamber, between Chamber and Mania. We had a lot of time to sit and think and a lot of time to sit and build. Less time for this one. I am still, despite all of that, excited for this card, but I know one guy, as we discussed it briefly before the show, might not be as stoked as me, so I'm going to let him lead this one out of the gates. Shotty, talk to me about maybe why you don't like it so much.
So when you think of the, word outsiders, you usually think of an incredible team, Scott Hall, Kevin Nash. Unfortunately, I feel the word outsiders has kind of blended to a different place nowadays. And I think the real outsiders are going to be at Backlash. And that's those two fraudulent celebrities that just completely rot my WWE weekly television, especially on Monday Night Raw. And that is one, Logan Paul, and that is another, Pat McAfee. I have zero interest seeing those two losers on my television screen. I have zero interest those two losers going against potentially two of my favorite wrestlers in the WWE. Now let's talk about the one match that is confirmed. That is Gunther. That is Pat McAfee. I'm not buying the hoopla of this fiery promo that Pat McAfee had. I'm not having any sympathy for him. The dude is an A1 scumbag, and I don't have any ounce of empathy to act like he's some babyface. I hope Gunther beats piss down his leg. I hope he has to have a diaper for the rest of his life after Backlash. That's the way I'll be happy. Then you go to Logan Paul, potentially going against Jey Uso. I'm not here for it. This man don't ever wrestle on a calendar year. Why does he get these big title opportunities? Why does he get an opportunity to hold the belt? I don't care if he's selling this drink that's bleaching everyone's colon. He's not here for a good time, and he just ruins everything. So those two are why I'm having Backlash towards Backlash. Now, the other two matches that are announced, John Cena, Randy Orton, A-class, 100%. That's amazing. That's a blast from the past. I'm excited for that. That's going to be great. The other one, I don't know if y'all see, but the signed book's right above me. Becky Lynch returns going against Lyra Valkyria. And as much as I love Becky Lynch, and as much as I consider her the greatest of all time, and as much as I love Lyra, the build for this match has been just completely like, fast forward, like super fast forward into it. And I just don't like everything that kind of went through where Liv and Raquel had to lose the titles, and then they won it back, and then she turned on there, and then she, y'all was hating on me on the IG reels. I've been reading the comments still to this day. Oh, you're an AEW show. Why are you saying Bayley should go there? Oh, Bayley never got done dirty. Man, y'all shut up. They did Bayley dirty, and they will continue to do Bayley dirty. And I love Becky Lynch, but Becky Lynch shouldn't have took Bayley's spot in an already set storyline with Lyra. So no, that's 3 reasons why I don't care about Backlash, and that's why there will be Backlash towards Backlash.
2 things, Shad. First, I don't know how you got in my head and did the exact voice I read the comments section in perfectly. That was impressive, to say the very least. I agree with a lot of what you said, especially about the Logan Paul match with Jey Uso. Like, now, right away out of the gate, that's your first title defense. And then we have Gunther with Pat. The irony of the fact that Gunther lost the belt. I get maybe no rematch, not the time. I do have a different opinion on the Pat McAfee part of this story. Slightly, but I agree with, I'm talking like 99.9% of what you just said. Before I talk about, my one thing about the Pat McAfee match, let me ask Jordy his opinion.
Can you read the one comment on IG?
Yes, I can. Let me pull it up. I apologize. I where is this one? Today's Pat's birthday. Don't disrespect Pat. Happy birthday, Pat.
This is birthday. Happy birthday, Pat McAfee.
That is hysterical. Jordy, let me get your thoughts on the Backlash card, and then I'll briefly give mine.
Let's go. Right, yeah. So I will listen. I share a lot of what Shad said there in terms of these people taking places on the card when we've got a all-time stacked roster, right? Like, there's people that are struggling to get places on Raw and SmackDown that maybe perhaps deserve places. I mean, Karrion Kross is one that straight away jumps to the top of my mind that I would like to see on this card over a Pat McAfee, even if it's against Gunther. But it is what it is. I can't bet a Shad in terms of complaining about it. So I'll just talk about what is there and what's happening. The only thing that kind of makes me like the story with Pat is the kind of thing that he's defending Michael Cole. So I back that. I back anyone that's going to jump in the ring for Michael Cole. He is going to get beaten down. I predicting it's his way to get written off WWE for a bit because Mania season's over. And he's going to go out in style, I guess. Gonna live and die by the sword. But I just want to talk about something. Obviously, Cena. I'll give you 3 reasons why I am looking forward to Backlash. John Cena, the Attitude Adjustment, and the 5-Knuckle Shuffle. But another match that I'm also very much looking forward to that I think has been teased last week is a Fatal 4-Way with Drew, Damian, Jacob Fatu, and LA Knight. If that makes it onto the card, that is going to be an absolute barn burner, and I think it'll steal the show. I think it'll be a very high-paced match. I think it'll be a lot of exciting spots, and I think it probably needs it if we're going to go down the same route that we went down with Cena and Cody. If that's going to be a bit of a slow-paced match, because I really think that Mania was missing that TLC match that we got last week in terms of just something to really get the adrenaline going for all the fans. No pun intended. Sorry, Cody. But yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to the card. But you guys in the comments know I'm a big Cena guy, so like to see, just drop some to see that one last time. It was maybe a dream to see it one last time, to see it in Randy's hometown with him the babyface and Cena the heel. That was a kind of a dream match scenario, so we're gonna get to see that, and I'm excited for that. But Shad, I don't disagree with your thoughts on Logan and Pat as people.
100%. The Fatal 4-Way sounds delightful, Jordy. I am with you on that. Yeah, I mean, who in the world would that hurt? Nobody, except for the people involved in the match, potentially. But that's part of the deal there. But yeah, I hear where you're coming from. Here's my one caveat on the Pat McAfee aspect of this. I love the idea of we've gotten used to this cyclical. He's going to go for college football. He's going to go away for some time. That's part of the deal. But he provides a lot to commentary, and he provides a lot of passion. Doing that live show from WrestleMania all week, that is unique to the Pat McAfee show on ESPN. That is unique to professional wrestling. We didn't get that before. They weren't doing a college game day style show WrestleMania weekend on the worldwide leader in sports, ESPN, until Pat McAfee came along. And I do think he deserves some credit for that. Like him or not, I understand he's a polarizing figure in a lot of different ways, and he's part-time and all of that. That has been a positive impact on wrestling and that part of it, right? Pat is not perfect by any means, and I'm not trying to defend his character in any way in this moment. But one thing I do really like is the idea of it's not so obvious. We're just told, well, he's going to go do college football. I feel like that disrespects pro wrestling. No, he's going to be written off TV by Gunther. And that, to me, is the important part of why this match was booked. He's going to squash him. It's going to start a run for Gunther. It's going to be a part of Gunther's next story. And that's the reason that I'm accepting of this Pat Gunther match, because it won't last long, my friends.
What if Logan's next as well? What if Gunther's thing is like, right, all of these part-timers, all of these celebrities.
Get them all.
Yeah, I'm going to go for
Wolfgang, kill them all, right? Like, yeah.
Gunther becomes a babyface.
Yeah. No, I hear it 100%. We got a few comments. The Tribal Chief 1, my guy Clark, what's going on? One's up, absolutely. And then, man, I just joined. Please a shout out, FK _CHY _70. You get one for sure.
Shout out to you, buddy.
Absolutely.
Welcome.
No doubt about it. No way Jordy just called Cena a heel. That cracked me up.
Perception. That's what fans think. It's not correct.
There's all kinds of good stuff, though. I think coming up, I'm hoping this is one of those cards that, even though it looks a little fuzzy from the outside right now, sort of over delivers. And I think that's a possibility here, because again, it's an unfinished product this close to the show. You know, it's everything's not, even the Fatal 4-Way is not fully official yet, and it could be anything. I think by the end of it, we'll look back and think, like, you know, for having to rush the build, because the other factor is, and I forgot about this, as much as the Raw after Mania does build forward for the rest of the year, it kind of stands alone by itself in some ways, because it's the Raw after Mania, and it feels even shorter, I think, than it should. I don't know if that's just a me thing, but do you guys get that feeling? Like the Raw after Mania feels like Mania night 2.5?
Yeah,
for lack of a better way to put it.
Yeah.
It definitely feels like it's,
and the SmackDown before feels like
show.
Yeah, and so
Mania 0.5. Like,
yeah, I think there's a chance that this turns out to be better by next week, right? We still have SmackDown tonight, which we'll preview obviously at the end of the show. We've still got another Raw, and then another, right? We've still got some time to build hours. We talk about, we've had that discussion on this show numerous times. Like, is 2 hours too short? Is 3 hours too long? What's the right amount of time? 2 hours and 28 minutes.
2 hours, 2.5.
I like
2.5.
I like 228. I think once you get in the 229 range, it gets ugly, right, Shad? Let's just stop it to the second. Yes, I think we're all in agreement on this. Pat will get squashed in 5 seconds. That one seems pretty obvious. But let's move on to our next topic here. This is an interesting one. Shadi?
Yeah.
You can now text Mercedes Monet. And as a diehard fan of our CEO, I just want to ask you, have you utilized that privilege yet?
Have I paid my $99.99 to text the CEO? Well, unless Wrestling Republic is paying me to do it, if I get a voucher, a tax write-off for it. Unfortunately, no, I won't be doing that. Look, this has been a hot topic today. And it's something that a lot of celebrities do. It's a lot of opportunities for people to kind of get more interactive and interpersonal with people that they look up to, that they're fans with, and whatnot. And me personally, no, I want to do it. Okay, I'm not that enamored by celebrities where I would pay $100 a month just to get a text conversation. But I will say this: I'm not here to knock the hustle. So if that's something that she can gravitate and make a passive income on the side to, by any means, go for it. I mean, if there is a market for her to get money in that way, why not, man? This is America, man. This is a capitalist country for that very reason. And this is another part of why I think Mercedes leaving the WWE was very, very key to her, because she's able to tap into different avenues and different outside things, because there's not the handcuffs there no more. The WWE didn't allow people to do stuff like this, right? They didn't allow, for a lot of, wrestlers to have, exclusive sites and stuff like that. Like, shout outs to the guest of the show, Ariane, what she has. They don't allow people to do stuff like that, right? They don't allow them to have like Twitch and streaming and stuff like that. So if that's what she's able to do and she's able to get people to buy into it, by any means, go for it. Don't hate the player, hate the game at the end of the day. But if it's me, I ain't doing that. Like, I'm sorry, I don't see a reason to pay money to text just a celebrity. I mean, what do you know what the conversation is going to be? Hey, hi. It's probably some already automated stuff. But that's neither here or there, man. Salute to Mercedes Monet. She can do what she needs to do. I'm still a big fan of her. If it's a scam, it's a scam. I'm not calling it a scam because she might be reaching. You pay for what you get what you pay for,
Right. And that's where I'm really curious if anybody's really got insight on this, because if it's you pay $99, you're guaranteed a response as long as you don't use like hate language or ask something or say something ridiculous, right? There's got to be guidelines and rules, I would assume, especially if you're going to pay $100. But if you're getting a guaranteed personal response, well, I mean, heck, that's cheaper than some cameos, right?
I'll make some people feel bad in the comments.
So
that's where, sorry.
I just, to me, if you get a guaranteed response and it's $99 to send a text and you're a diehard fan, especially for like a kid or somebody like that, this makes a ton of sense as like a gift. Like, would you mind wishing me a happy birthday? Boom, happy birthday. Yeah. You're the best, buddy. Whatever it may be. Stuff like that I think is cool, especially just feeling like you have more access. There's this one, why not charge the same amount for a 10-minute conversation? I will say this, people at that level don't have time for a 10-minute conversation. That's why Cameo is that way, the text thing, all of that, and scheduling and whatnot, the way that things move.
You got like
people do it at conventions, right? Yeah, exactly. So if people do it at conventions, but this is what I was going to say, where people obviously, I think people aren't mindful of this, that like, for some people, going to a convention is an absolute no-go. It's far too overwhelming. There's far too many people. That's just never going to happen. That it's too much. So the thought for them people who maybe aren't comfortable going to this convention to be able to have that one-on-one interaction, it ain't the end of the world.
And to your point, as great as conventions are, like you said, it's not as personal. Yeah. You're shuffling through the line. You're going to have a longer conversation with who's in front of you and behind you in line. at a convention. And,
I
and
think,
that's where,
yeah,
you know,
I'd be interested to know, like Shad said, is it an automated response? Maybe
that
Wrestling
would be
Republic. Maybe we should
unfortunate.
have a whip round and we should.
You
That
know
is
what, guys?
definitely worst case scenario.
You know what? I gotta come out. So now I'm starting something. It's called, you can pay me $99 and then I will message you on Instagram. I will follow you back and I will message you. So if you hit my Cash App, you know what I'm saying? Hit the Cash App, hit me with the hundo a month. I'll send you a message, man. I'll be like, what's good, yo?
I'll leave you a minute-long voicemail if
I'm
you
not
pay me
gonna start paying
$9.
100. So
I'm not even gonna go 99. Pay me $9. I'll leave you a voicemail of your choice. You can tell me what to say in it too. I'll say whatever
Here's the
you
thing,
want.
though. She's going to get a lot of people to do it, regardless of what
100%.
everyone wants to say. Mercedes Moné, one, is a beautiful woman, so a lot of people who have crushes on her are going to pay that money, and I mean that could make someone's day, make someone's life. You know what I'm saying?
1000%. And this subject in itself is kind of poignant right now because let's talk about Etsy really quick. You don't have to pay anything and you can argue with me for free. Download the Etsy app on the App Store or the Google Play Store. Head over to the upcoming streams section. Find the upcoming streams. It's going to be me, Tribal Chief, who you saw over commenting on Instagram, Big Ant, you, Cam Takes, all of us. You want to argue with us about wrestling? Jump in for a minute. All you got to have is a cell phone, the app downloaded, join the live stream. It's absolutely free. There are paid streams, but these ones are not currently. Please join, and doesn't matter which type of phone you have. It's on the regular App Store as well as the Google Play Store. Check it out. Upcoming streams. You will thoroughly enjoy it, I assure you. Let's keep today's show rolling. Let's ask a real existential question here. What are we supposed to do as far as treating Aleister Black? What do we? I was a little confused by this. How do we treat Aleister Black question? Jordy, can you give me a little insight on what we're supposed to do with Aleister Black, I guess, in the future here?
You should always treat everyone the same, man. You should always treat everyone with respect, and be nice to people and don't be nasty. No, I'm joking. With Aleister Black, I think this thing of like everyone's gonna get lost in the shuffle. Everyone's gonna come over to WWE. They're gonna get lost in the shuffle. If WWE don't want that to happen, that won't happen. Penta is a prime example of it. Obviously, Penta deserves some credit for that as well. Penta is a highly marketable man. But I think so is Aleister Black. I really do. I think with the lack of the Wyatt Six right now, WWE fans are almost craving that kind of ominous energy, ominous aura within the building. Aleister does emanate that. He does. I think there was a bit of confusion last week because I think the welcome back chants were there, but I think me as a wrestling fan was perhaps expecting more people to recognize him than he did, and maybe aren't as conscious or didn't think at the time of how many new fans we have got since Aleister Black was last in WWE. So it did kind of make sense. I think personally they presented him well. I think the Miz for anybody coming to WWE is not a bad first feud. I think there's people that disagree with that, but I think the Miz he's a utility man. He works in any position you put him. He's like a universal jigsaw piece. And if you need someone to make Aleister feel like a big deal, I think the Miz is kind of a perfect fit for that. With them, they've got a match tonight. How that's going to go intrigues me a little bit because obviously you would think he's going to win, but because Miz and Melo have got this kind of storyline going on, I also think to myself, well, is Melo going to get involved and stop that kind of first big win happening? And the feuds that we'll actually get and the big bouts and the exciting matches that we're going to get will be between Aleister and Melo, which, to be honest, like, sign me up for that. They will put on bangers. So, yeah, I think they just need to make him a big deal. Like I said, he can do it. We're kind of seeing it with Rey Fenix. We certainly saw it with Penta. It's how WWE book them. And I think they just need to keep him somewhat on ominous, protect the Black Mass, protect the kick, make it look like, because that was what they did in the presentation last week. For anybody who doesn't know Aleister Black, they showed that he can drop someone with a kick. That was what he's got a hell of a kind of ominous feeling about him. His entrance is cool, and he can drop someone with one kick. That was what they were showing us last week. I just hope they continue that and continue in that fashion to make a big deal of it.
Absolutely. And more importantly, I have to give you a big thank you, because the question I was supposed to ask is, how do we make sure Aleister Black doesn't get lost in the shuffle? But I completely blanked on what actually the question was. So I just went with exactly what it said on the teleprompter.
That's cool.
But you answered the question anyway, and I appreciate that.
But honestly, though, if he does get lost in the shuffle, the conversation needs to be had about it, because the narrative that the grass is greener on the other side is always the point of contingency. And it is a thing that has happened. The whole joke that everyone makes towards, and I'm not trying to promise you, I ain't trying to make it an AEW versus WWE thing. I'm making it a call a spade thing. The whole concept of the shiny new toy thing can be well said in the WWE as well. Like, we see people get positioned, and then we could see that, that gloss fade out. So let's see what happens, though.
And that's where we've got a great comment.
As well, like you say, isn't it? Like, it says, people will say, wait, if someone's somewhat stagnant for a month or so in WWE, it's, they should go to AEW. Not us, as in, like, that's the murmurs that you hear online.
Other
that's
people,
what you
right?
See. Yeah.
Except Bailey, you should definitely leave.
Yeah.
AJ Styles is another one. Edge was another one, and then he's kind of
Edge just
a
retired.
little bit.
He's washed.
But I remember at the time everyone was like, "Go and see Christian. Go and see Christian." You know what I mean? So
I got a good friend of mine over on the Instagram comments. Don't say the F word podcast. What's going on? Said, I hope they don't go too spooky with him. And the F word's fake. But I hope they don't go too spooky with him. The AEW presentation was great. It just wasn't consistent. I think that's actually interesting, because it does feel like WWE has the capability to go even spookier, right, than AEW did. I did think there was a nice balance. He just wasn't featured on TV that often. And that's an interesting balance to strike there in and of itself. I'm not 100% sure which direction we go. Fernando Zayas said Aleister Black should get a long IC or US championship run and give him a little faction to lead. I'd be cool with that. I think I'm kind of done with the Aleister Black leading factions thing after the house. That'd be my only caveat there. And then
so people
he said, I don't know if people get lost.
Does 6-man
he
matches.
Is unique, his look and character in the ring. And then in AEW, he wasn't overly spooky. He's a black metal fan. And that's what I like about it. Let's focus on the Dutch kickboxing background, how lethal the striking is. And not to make him too regular, a little spookiness is fine here and there, I think.
They were making a big deal of the striking, actually, weren't they?
Let's make a really big deal of the fact that he's an unbelievably high-level Dutch kickboxer, which is Muay Thai, Dutch kickboxing. There's an argument to be had amongst kickboxing fans, which I'm probably the only one on this program, so I'm not going to get that one started, but which one is the better art and everything as far as kickboxing is concerned. But Dutch kickboxing has a very rich history, and he is well-versed in it. That's one thing that you got to give him absolute credit for. But we've got, as you can see here on the prompt, a super busy weekend, which I'm fired up because we're all going to preview different stuff. First and foremost, I'm going to actually send this one to you, Shadi, to preview New Japan Pro Wrestling. I'll preview AEW Collision, and then we'll end it on Jordy previewing SmackDown tonight. But Shadi, talk to me about what we're going to see as far as New Japan action is concerned this weekend.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we have an event this upcoming weekend, Wrestling Dontaku 2025. It's a pretty stacked card, 2-night event. And I mean, you want to talk about night one matches that I'm super excited for. Personally, New Japan Pro Wrestling World Heavyweight Television Championship match. El Phantasmo ELP versus Konosuke Takeshita. My God, if y'all haven't seen their match last year in the G1, that was one of my favorite matches of the entire year. Hard-hitting, physical as hell. These guys have a undeniable amount of chemistry with each other, and I'm so excited for them to run that back. Obviously, we got the homie ZSJ going against the legend Tanahashi. That's going to be crazy. Shoto Umino versus Takagi. That's going to be crazy. And then the dog pound match between House of Torture and the Bullet Club War Dogs. The losing team must leave the Bullet Club. You know, that a lot of people going to feel a certain type of way of that, but that should be something to be looking forward to. Then you look at night 2, the main event. You got Goto versus Callum Newman. That's for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. That's going to be crazy. Tsuji versus Umuro in the IWGP Global Heavyweight title match. You also got we got Los LFI, the Japan version, versus Just 4 Guys for the 8-man tag match. So there's a lot of matches going on both nights. It looks like a star-studded event. And yeah, man, if I had to pick one match that y'all should really be locked in, to me, night 1 looks a little bit more on the end that I'll probably be watching on Saturday. ELP, the guy that people say looks like Logan Paul. Now, Logan Paul looks like ELP. You want to talk about a man that has fought adversity, going against what he had to go through his health scare, coming back and just not missing a step. One of the most underrated professional wrestlers in the entire world, in my opinion. I'm a big El Phantasmo fan. And Takeshita, it might be a big claim, but Takeshita is easily the best Japanese wrestler next to Io Sky in the entire world at the moment. Like, I just don't think people give him enough credit for how amazing he is. You know, sometimes it gets kind of, under the rug because he's in a company with a Will Ospreay. He's in a company with a Kenny Omega, a Hangman, a Swerve. But that man is in the same boat as those guys. He is one of the best, and he is a guy that goes from company to company to company and holds a flag for each company when he's there, whether it's DDT, whether it's New Japan now, or whether it's AEW. And he's waving that flag as one of the top guys. So you got to give Takeshita his love for that, man. But it's going to be a dope card, and I'm definitely hyped for it.
I am too, and you broke it down. I mean, that is so much good action. There's all kinds of good stuff here. Like Make Beat said, Takeshita ELP from G1 was gnarly, no doubt about it.
I swear, it was definitely
Newman and
like,
Goto.
it is that's going to be crazy too. It is definitely in my top 5 matches of the year last year. Like, I remember I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning to watch the G1 with the homies, obviously in the call Kobe and all them. And I think I watched that one. I didn't watch that one with them. I was watching that one Dolo. And bro, I was like, yo, this is I haven't even had my coffee yet, and this already woke me up for the day. So
no doubt.
It's gonna be dope, man.
Yeah, a match is good when it replaces caffeine. That's definitely a positive. Go ahead.
I make beats. Nah, Take Soup is number 1, sir. Oh, I don't know, man. I love EO so much for me to give her that. They're 1A, 1B. How about that?
That I think is fair. Okay, really quickly, what I'm going to do is I called a little bit of an audible here. I'm going to preview Collision because it's pretty thin as far as what's announced right now. Then we'll go ahead and pick the Progress Super Strong Style 16 tournament winner after that. And we'll go home, Jordy, with your SmackDown preview and a little bit of discussion about Friday Night SmackDown tonight. But let me start by previewing Collision, my friends. Not a whole lot announced, but a whole lot announced as far as fun is concerned. Timeless Tony Storm in a title eliminator match. Wow, was that a tongue twister? Taking on Lady Frost. This is exciting. Tony Storm looked great Wednesday night. I don't anticipate her looking anything other than great on Saturday night. I'm excited about this one, but also Brody King taking on Josh Alexander. These are 2 solid matches, and there will be a heck of a lot more going on as far as Collision is concerned this weekend. But, I mean, just 2 matches announced. Hard to decide exactly how this is all going to go down. I mean, both of the matches that are announced are very solid, no doubt about it. But let's get into this Super Strong Style 16 card really quick. I'll announce the field for everybody just so you know it. At the top of the bracket, it's Man Like Darius taking on Ethan Allen. You got Tate Mayfair's taking on Masa Kitamaya. You've got Marcus Mathers and Will Cruz. You've got Charlie Sterling and Simon Miller. Jack Morris taking on Leon Slater, Kid Lycos, and Zosiah. And then you've got Michael Oku against Kid Lycos. I'm sorry, that's Kid Lycos 2. You got Kid Lycos 1 taking on Michael Oku, and then Trent Seven against Charles Crowley in the first round matchups. This one is nothing short of delightful, nothing short of exciting. Jordy, you haven't got to talk in a long time. Who's your pick out of the gates?
I'm gonna go with Simon Miller because he recently lost the Progress Championship in Vegas, I believe. So he's got something to bounce back from. Do you know what I mean? Listen, I don't watch Progress as much as maybe I should, admittedly, but from what I've seen about Simon Miller, he's not only a great wrestler, he seems like a great guy. So I'm fully in his corner for this. I think after he's on a little bit of a losing streak, he's lost his last couple of matches. Granted, one of them was a 5-way for the title that he lost, if you want to count that as a loss. But I think it's time to start bouncing back from that. And I think this tournament is the way to do it.
I love that. I think it's a great pick. It's fun. More of an underdog, too. I dig it. Who do you got in this one, Shadi, though?
All right. Well, first and foremost, salute to the good people at Progress Wrestling, continuing to give us some of the best wrestling that we can watch as wrestling fans. And this tournament is absolutely stacked. A lot of great familiar names that I'm a big fan of. But you know what, man? I got to go for Kid, bro. That was on SportsCenter. That was on the ESPN IG reel for what he did at TNA last week in the X Division match. A guy who was so close of getting the X Division title. But you know what? He's going to get it out here in Progress. And that's the youngest in charge. That is Leon Slater, one of my favorite young professional wrestlers, probably my favorite British wrestler on the men's side currently. The guy just defies gravity, man. Like he really be getting up there. Him and Javon Evans still need to have a match against each other, by the way. But yeah, I'm going with my dog Leon Slater, man, the youngest in charge. And I saw that he got that flip on a t-shirt now. So you know what, man, I might have to run and cop that for the young man, because bro is really one of the ones.
No doubt about it. I love the pick. Leon Slater makes perfect sense in this one, but I'm going to go with the guy at the top of the bracket. Right at the top. I don't know if they try to do this like March Madness, but he appears as the number 1 overall seed, if that were the case. And that's man like Dries. I saw him perform at Progress in Vegas not that long ago, like 12 days. I don't do math. I'm trying. It's like a week, 2 weeks ago. Actually, I think it was 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago yesterday at midnight was when the Progress show was at the Palms that I attended. Man like Dries is over after midnight. That's hard to do. That's really, really hard to do. I just, I mean, you don't see somebody get cheered with mostly sleepy people in the arena in that regard. Man like Dries is over. He's got a huge future ahead of him. And I think it's his time to win a tournament like this, because I know he can go in the ring and I know he's got charisma. Put them both together, win this tournament, and move on from there. But I think we all three had really good picks.
He's like a young Ron Killings to me.
I think that is the perfect Ron the Truth Killings. Yes, that is the K-Quick, arguably.
K-Quick, yeah, like kind of
arguably
like
K-Quick. Yeah, like same. I mean, same guy technically, right? Yeah. But like at the end of the day, I wasn't even correcting you. I was just saying, like, even early K-Quick, he reminds me of in some ways. And yeah, I think it would be really cool for him to notch this one under his belt. But of course, we did a heck of a job running through that, so we gave Jordy his time. What's going on the big show? Friday Night SmackDown this weekend.
Well, it's the big show.
Yeah, let's go down to the SmackDown Hotel. Not a lot. Again, similar to what you guys were saying. Well, no, actually, New Japan had a fair card. AEW didn't have a great deal. But what we do have, as we spoke about before, is Aleister Black in his first match back on WWE against The Miz. How that goes, I don't know. Like I said, with Melo being with Miz, does he cost him the match? And do we get like Melo likes to do the 5-match run? So I don't know. But I'm excited to see him back in his first match. The only other thing that's been announced as of yet, unless Nick Aldis does this to spite me and uploads an Instagram video like now to announce anything more, is Randy Orton will be addressing the fact that obviously he is fighting his long-term rival John Cena at Backlash in his hometown. we've not really got a main event announced. Like, so I'm looking The Miz and Aleister Black. I don't think he's going to main event. I'm guessing someone's going to interrupt Randy. And Randy will wrestle that person in the main event. But what else could possibly happen? Like I kind of teased before, the fact about the Fatal 4-Way, right? Between Drew, Damian, Jacob Fatu, and LA Knight. I want to see a little bit more of that because that's a match I really want to see. Tiffy and Nia, remember last week? Surely we're going to see a little bit more of that. And hopefully a little bit of a backlash, no pun intended, from the big shock last week when I've not had a chance to address this yet either. I'm a huge Zelina Vega fan. I don't think there's many women on the roster more deserving of a title. When the mid-card titles got brought in, Zelina Vega was one of the first people I thought of. So to see her pick one up was a great moment for me. I was so happy. I kind of wish it was on a bigger stage, but listen, I'm not going to nitpick. She looked completely over the moon. So I'm happy about that. But obviously, a very cryptic post from Chelsea Green this week on Instagram, saying farewell to the WWE with a half-mast flag. Hopefully, that's not actually goodbye. And we see maybe a stipulation match for these two at Backlash.
I would love that.
I would
love that.
They deserves to be on the Mania card, not because of the title, not because of the story that was told. I understand that, but I just think them two women deserved to be on the Mania card, especially when you've got a mid-card title that was introduced and they didn't tell the story well enough. I don't think so. I'd like to see them get a payoff on a PLE personally.
I would as well, but I also agree with I Make Beats and you as well. Here, Zelina deserves it. I have been begging since she should have beaten Rhea Ripley in Puerto Rico years ago. What were we doing with Zelina Vega? She's always been this good. She's always been this talented. She's always been this charismatic. Boricua Morena. Finally, U.S. champion. I will take it. I'll take it how we can get it, whether it was at Mania or not. But I agree with you. Some sort of a stipulation match, some sort of a serious payoff in St. Louis between her and Chelsea Green. Dial it up, my friend. 100%.
Yeah, and if anyone knows anything about Zelina as well, obviously I'm not going to go too much into it, but she's fairly public about it and her dad and how he passed away and the way he passed away. For her to be holding a championship belt with the United States flag on it, that it really genuinely did. It meant a lot to her. You could see it. And for someone who's been following her for the longest time, and she spoke about that, and she spoke about one day I'll bring home a belt for her dad, and to see it have the US flag on, it was just
that's dope.
I couldn't even fathom like the video of her taking it to the memorial with where his name is and everything. That video, I would bawl my eyes out. You know, I've been to the memorial. I've been to New York City. Sister lives in New York City. My dad lived there for years, and just what that means to the community and everything like that. It's very, very, very cool and very emotional. And that is no knock on Chelsea Green in the way that she carried the title.
No, it isn't. It's a knock on her. It feels good. It's good that someone with an American citizenship born is our champ, and we could put tariffs on Canada and take her packing back over there.
We didn't mean it like that. We didn't mean it like that. Now
you just don't like Chelsea, bro. If Chelsea started charging people $100 for a text, you would be absolutely tearing her apart. But because Mercedes done it, she's got the all clear.
Well, I also will say one thing I'm really looking forward to is Randy in St. Louis against Cena. We've seen Cena go into hostile territory throughout his career as a babyface. He did it in Toronto with Edge. He did it in Chicago with Punk. He's done it about everywhere. This is going to land in a way. This will be the most hostile crowd towards Cena in St. Louis, Missouri. 100%. This crowd will be the most behind Cena's opponent we've ever seen him wrestle.
How many? If Cena wins, more
than one night stand.
Yeah, that's what I think they're
more
trying
than one night stand because it's more people and it's St. Louis. It will be more than one night stand.
I think we'll see plenty of if Cena wins, we riot. It wouldn't surprise me if Cena is that knowledgeable to actually throw his T-shirt this time, knowing it's gonna get thrown back.
Yes,
but it might not actually because it's his farewell.
It's St. Louis. It's St. Louis. They will.
Okay.
It's St. Louis. They'll throw it back.
You know what though? Like and not before we go off, obviously, for those who are like, there's a lot of and I think I mentioned it before. A lot of people criticize the match. They're saying, "Oh, it's gonna be a bad match." You just gotta appreciate the ride. And you gotta appreciate the vibes, bro. Like it's Randy versus Cena. These guys have had extensive history from the beginning of OVW to where we are now. Like for them to be wrestling 25 years later from the start of their careers and now is absolutely remarkable, man. So I'm hyped for it.
I do totally agree. I make Beats is in agreement here. I'm down for the Cena Orton with the flip dynamic. Yeah. Well,
Cena's
because
gonna slap
by the way,
ref, bro. Cena's 100% gonna slap the ref.
The fans almost tried to flip the dynamic a couple times during their initial rivalry unsuccessfully. Now we've got it the way it makes sense, especially given the current times. I'm really excited about that. But that does bring us to the end of the show.
And all the hits, I'm there. That's all we need, baby.
That's
all we need.
I was going to say, I've gone overtime. I'm going to get myself in trouble. But thank you, everybody that tuned in. We really appreciate it. We'll be back same time, same place tomorrow. That's, of course, noon Pacific, 3 o'clock in the East, 8 o'clock in the UK, and 9 a.m. for my friends in Hawaii. On behalf of me, Clark, Shadi, Jordy, everybody at WR, have a happy Friday. Enjoy all the wrestling this weekend, and we will talk to you soon.